Hey, so I'm Johnny. I'm Man Behind the Lens on Instagram, and today we're going to take a deep dive into astrophotography and what it actually is. So I sit back and I hope you enjoy. Thank you. What is astrophotography? Astrophotography is basically anything to do with the sky, whether it be the moon, the stars, Milky Way, the auroras, or the nebulas. It's all going to intertwine in what astrophotography actually is. And I'm going to teach you a little bit about etiquette while going out and shooting astrophotography, especially for beginners. One of the major questions I get about astrophotography is, can you see the Milky Way with the naked eye? And yes, you can. If you go into any dark sky location, there's even the dark sky apps that you can look up, and they'll show you dark sky locations on there, and you can actually physically see the Milky Way with your eye, and you will use that later for your composition. Now I'm going to teach you a little bit of etiquette when it comes to astrophotography. So firstly, we're going to talk about being aware of your surroundings. You need to be aware of everything around you, as you're going to be in some very dark sky locations. So you need to pay attention to where you're at and what you're doing at all times, because it can cost you very valuable time, resources, and even can cause you in some situations to be hurt. One of the other things that will really help you is hydration. Drink lots of water and bring yourself some snacks, because you don't realize you're walking miles and miles out in the dark. So the last thing that you need to do is get disoriented and not be able to figure out your way back to your vehicle. So make sure you bring yourself some water and even peanuts, which are really good protein to help you fuel your body and kind of get yourself back in gear. You will need proper lighting, which means any red light or flashlight as well. But I highly recommend you use any light that's going to have a red light for your headlamp or your flashlight, as you'll still be able to see exactly where you're going, but it's also not so harsh on other people out there while they're taking photos, as well as the wildlife. Speaking of wildlife, that's something that you need to be aware of too, because there are a lot of wildlife encounters out there. Whether it be the desert or the mountains, you're dealing with mountain lions, bobcats, coyotes, a lot of rattlesnakes while you're out there at night, especially during springtime and summertime. So you need to be aware once again of your surroundings, because there is a lot of wildlife out there as well. Let's talk private boundaries. That's going to be the last etiquette thing that I want to talk about. Pay attention to your surroundings once again, because sometimes you will go off track and you show up in other people's property, and that's the last thing you want to do, because once again you're going to get yourself in trouble, or you can get yourself hurt on these different people's property. You can go onto Google Maps, and a lot of times it will show you different property where you're going to be at. But for me, if you want somewhere to shoot and it is private property, ask, and they might actually allow you to go out there and shoot. It doesn't hurt to ask, but be mindful of other people's places, because once again, these are places that they own and we don't belong there. Let's talk a little bit about aperture. This is a Rokinon 2.8 14 millimeter. You're going to want apertures from 1.4, 1.8, 2.8, and even 3.5 if that's all you have for your kit lens. This is going to allow you to draw more light in, to allow you to take a better shot and be able to illuminate your scene and things like that. Next, we're going to talk shutter. As far as your shutter goes, you're going to be taking a shot anywhere from 10 seconds to 30 seconds. I wouldn't go anywhere over 30 seconds unless you're doing star trails. But as far as the Milky Way, there's going to be a 500 rule that we're going to go over in a few tips. We'll discuss that to help with your shutter speed, but you're going to keep this in mind on your shutter. And ISO. ISO, you're going to be shooting anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 when you're shooting the Milky Way. You don't want to really go above that, because you're going to get a lot of grain and noise inside your image, and it's going to be a little harder to process once you go into Lightroom and you want to do your editing. You can get away with sometimes a little more, but I really don't recommend it, especially for beginners. Tip number 1 is composition. So once again, you're going to want to get out there. To me, the best time is during the day to find your composition, and you can use the app like PhotoPills to see what time the Milky Way is going to come up to be the best shot. But if you're out there at night, let your eyes get adjusted. Once you see the Milky Way, you can kind of figure out from there where you want it. And again, use some light out there, but be vigilant to find the subject that you want to shoot or anything along those lines that's going to help with your composition. Now let's talk lighting. I use a video light to light my scene because it's less editing when you process. Now again, you got to keep in mind that there's other people around you, so you don't always want to use lighting like that. But I use it because it's easier for me, and I do quick little flashes where it's just like on and off, and it's just enough light to where you can light your scene. Now let's talk the 500 rule. Once again, this is 14 millimeters, so if you divide that by 500, that would give you about 25 seconds on your shutter speed. This is a good way to find out what shutter you actually need. So all you do is whatever focal length that you have, divide that by 500, and that would be your rough for your shutter speed. And then you can give or take a little bit from there. So once again, I know this video is short, but I just wanted to do a quick little deep dive on astrophotography and help progress your photos and get you out there to shoot under the stars. You can like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at manbehindalens. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm always available. I always, comment back or respond back to you to help you with your needs. So thank you again all for watching this, and please give me some feedback, as like I said, I'm new to this. Let me know if there's any videos you want to see, and I can make a video on it, or any questions you might have. Thank you all again, and I hope you have a wonderful time, and maybe I'll see you out under the stars.